Look, when God gives you the green light, you need to go. Okay? God snatched me from that job. When something is being put in your hands to bring to life, and God tells you that's what you need to do, and God says go, but you're still scared, then you got to do it. So this is what I'm doing. And I have a public service announcement from your friendly black hottie and spiritual baddie. Here's the thing. I'm going through so much. I'm not even going to talk about it on the internet yet, but I am a walking testimony. Okay? I've been through some shit. I'm currently going through some shit. And when I tell you the spiritual warfare is at an all-time high, that's when you know you are on the right path. So I just came back from this coffee shop that I go to in the neighborhood, and I had a conversation with this woman. I saw her yesterday and today. I gave her a reading. Okay? When the call needs to be answered, you answered it. When spirits are ringing your doorbell, knocking on your door, you have to answer the call. If you are a psychic medium, like moi, you have to accept that this is your gift and that you are here to serve people. And I'm finally fully 10 toes down accepting it that this is my gift and I'm here to help people. I've been doing it for years, secretly, behind the scenes, and now I'm doing it officially. So, this woman, I go to get my coffee, I go to get a donut, I go to have pleasant conversation, and all of a sudden, I feel the spirit of her grandmother, who was basically like her mom. I'm not going to give all the information because I don't do that. That's not my thing. But my point is, I gave her the message that she needed to hear. Okay? I get my coffee, I go about my day. But wait, there's more. For $9.99 plus shipping and handling, you can get a spirit straight to you, straight to your doorstep. That won't go away until you deliver the message. That's basically how it goes. So, her grandmother and a couple of other people who had passed away in her family came to me. I sit down, I write the entire thing out. It took me about 20 minutes or so. I go back to the coffee shop. Okay? I hand her the message. She looks at me. I look at her. I'm like, this is what they want me to tell you. This is what I have to do. If I don't do it, I don't know what's going to happen. If I do not deliver a message, it is the most uncomfortable sensation. It is so unsettling, and it just feels like there's this heavy energy that needs to like get off of you. There's like something extra on there that like there's something extra that needs to be released. You feel the physical sensation of something on you, and if you don't get it off, you're just going to be uncomfortable. Story of my fucking life, right? So I deliver the message. I am nothing but a servant of God. Okay? I deliver her the message. This was yesterday, right? Today, I go back in there because God told me to. Now that I want some coffee, yes, I'm a coffee fiend. But I went back in there because God told me to. Okay? I go and check on her, see how she's doing. She looks at me like, she just confirmed and validated a lot of the things that was in the message that she needed to hear, and just expressed a lot of gratitude and words of encouragement and encouraging me that I need to be doing this. And I will say it was definitely something that I needed to hear, because so many readings that I give, I never hear or see those people again. I cannot tell you the amount of strangers I've given readings to on just, just following the call, answering the call, following the right path. The amount of people I've given readings to, I never hear from them again. Ever. I don't see them again. I don't hear from them again. I might hear word of mouth from my friend who set me up with these people to do readings. I might hear something positive or confirming, but it's just, whoop, it's just a matter of me putting it out there. Here you go. God told me to give this to you. Here you go. I hope it helps. I don't know if it will. And then I never hear from them again. And I don't know. I don't know. So it was just a beautiful synchronicity and a message that I needed to hear as well from her, and a confirmation and a sign that this is what I have to do now. It took me a long time to get here. I am stubborn, okay? I am very analytical, and I like to think a dose of delusion and logic, but I'm a very analytical thinking person, okay? Do you know the amount of times, the amount of years I have spent losing my mind in a restaurant, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, working an 11-hour, 10, 11, 12-hour shift, especially when I transitioned from being hourly staff to management? The amount of work I have put in towards someone else's business, the amount of effort I've put in running away from the thing that God told me to do, it's making it 10 times harder because God gave me a sign and gave me a calling and gave me a path, and I chose to ignore it. I chose to run away from it. I did so many readings, countless readings in Boston and some in Atlanta before I moved to New York. I came to New York, I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. I'm on my fashion model shit. Okay. And then I kept working in restaurants and I kept losing my mind and I kept getting stressed out. And God essentially just removed me from that last year in October, the end of September. Um, I was working in a restaurant and the universe snatched me out of it like I've never been snatched before. I didn't have time to grab anything. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got me. Basically, I had the most random hip injury. Okay. The most random, unprecedented hip injury. God snatched me from that job. Meanwhile, I was trying to quit. Okay. I was trying to be logical and prepared. I was looking for other jobs, I was applying to other jobs, and I wasn't ready to leave until I had something lined up. God told me to leave that job. I didn't listen because I didn't have anything logical in this world that made sense to do. Okay? I didn't listen. So I got removed, physically removed. Took me out completely. And I had a hip injury that set me back for months. I couldn't do anything. And that is a physical job where you have to physically move. You got to be walking around. You got to be picking stuff up, putting stuff down. You got to get your squats and your steps in. You know what I mean? I couldn't do any of that. It was just painful. It was painful enough just to walk around the neighborhood and get a walk in for the day. It was bad. And I've had back surgery, okay? I've had back surgery, spinal fusion for scoliosis, and that was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. But this hip pain, this hip injury felt existential. Okay? Like something snapped literally and spiritually inside of me. And I left that job. And then it just kind of fell apart from there. I couldn't work. I literally could not work. And I had to leave. I had no choice. God removed me and I had no choice. And this entire time, since last September, I've been applying to jobs nonstop. Okay? I've been applying to all kinds of jobs outside of restaurants nonstop. God told me not to. I didn't listen. God told me to do very specific things. I did not listen. Okay. I wanted to do it my way. I was like, I'm just going to go back to work, save a little bit of money, and then I'm going to get back to this other thing. I'm going to go to the work. I'm going to do the logical human thing, and then I'm going to get back to, you know, focusing on my podcast and focusing on being a fashion model and building my portfolio and working with people and collaborating with people and content creation and writing and focusing on my Substack and writing my book that God keeps telling me to do and I keep procrastinating on it. I'm gonna do all that later, but right now I'm gonna go get this money because that's what I know how to do and I need to pay my bills. God said no. God said no. God gave me a very specific set of directions and instructions. I ignored it. And yeah, it's just been really hard. To be fully transparent, it has been so hard when you feel this sense of rejection and you're stagnant and things aren't going the way you want them to go. Okay. Countless job applications. I stopped counting after 100 because it felt just humiliating and defeating, discouraging, disheartening, and embarrassing, and all the things. And I even had a couple of interviews that led to nothing. I'm just like, I know it's not me because I'm qualified and I have a long list of references that will vouch for me professionally and personally. But my point is, you have to look at the rejection as redirection. And really, I never really resonated with that phrase and that saying as much as I do now. God has redirected me, okay, to be doing this. I did not want to. I was stubborn. I wanted to do things my way. But, but alas, here I am. God told me to get sober so I could live and access the greatest potential for my life and help other people do the same thing. And so now I'm fully accepting it. God told me to get sober so I could fully embody my psychic medium gifts and help people. And now I am actually accepting it finally after all of these years of trying to hide behind the scenes and try to like give people messages and readings behind the scenes and like not charge anyone and just, dismiss it. But this interaction that I had at the coffee shop like an hour ago really was the confirmation that I needed. Even though you know when something is being put on your plate, when something is being put in your hands to bring to life, and God tells you that's what you need to do, and God says go, but you're still scared, then you got to do it. So this is what I'm doing. And I had an interaction at that coffee shop. After talking to that lady, another woman walked in there and heard the tail end of our conversation. And so she's looking at me and she's like, well, what do you do? I want to know. Because the woman was telling me, like, this is what you need to be doing. You can help so many people. And I'm just like, oh, I know. I didn't want to, though. I didn't want to tell anybody. There's a lot of religious trauma there, kind of in the back burner of my mind. You know, try to tell people in my family I was a psychic medium. They told me I was talking to demons. But the gag is a couple of them passed away and now I talk to them every day. So this woman next to me comes up and she's like, well, what do you do? So then I start talking to her. I'm like, well, I transitioned from being a restaurant manager, working in restaurants, and now I'm doing the thing that God has told me to do. Even though it doesn't all make sense, and even though I've been kind of stubborn and denying it, God gave me the green light and told me to go, so now I'm going. Okay? I didn't have the courage to do it, and now I'm just asking for a little bit of that courage every day. Because what else am I going to do? If there is something that God told you to do, you need to do it. If God gives you the green light to do something, then you should do it and just figure out how to show up a little bit. Take a couple steps, and then the rest will be figured out for you on your behalf supernaturally. I am living proof of supernatural provision and direction and support right now, currently in my life. Living proof. So I talked to this woman. Um, we exchanged information. I told her about being a psychic medium. I told her about being a fashion model. I told her about other things I want to do for the community in terms of helping specifically Black and Brown people live a sober lifestyle. More on that soon. I haven't launched it yet, but I told her about my digital products and my 7-day reset and my sober minded social playbook where I help people navigate having a social life without drinking because we need that, specifically Black and Brown people. That is the community I want to cater to. Everybody's welcome, okay? There's no discrimination around here. I don't do that. I don't do that shit. But I see where the gap is and where the need is. And so that's the direction I'm going in. So I'm telling this to this lady that I just met in line as she's ordering coffee and I'm drinking mine. We exchange information then, and then, we never know how it's going to go from there. All that to say, when God gives you the green light, you have to go. Even if you don't fully believe that you're capable, God will qualify you. God will call you into that. God will qualify the unqualified. God will tell you to go left and you just go left, even though you can't see the rest of the path. If you take 2 steps, I guarantee you the rest of those steps will be lit the fuck up and you will see where to go. As you start to move in that direction, things will be revealed, things will be dropped into your lap, people will be guided towards you, synchronicities will happen in your favor, things will start to work out for you in ways that you couldn't even conspire of with your little human brain and thinking. That's how it works. That's how it works, and that's why you have to have faith. That's why I have this tattoo, or this one, or faith over fear. You gotta faith over fear, mind over matter. The fact that I got this tattoo like 3 years ago, and now I have to literally be living proof of it is fucking hilarious. So if anyone needed a sign, if anybody needed a sign to do the thing that God is telling you to do, this is your fucking sign to just do the thing, even though you're scared and you don't know how it's going to work out, even though you don't understand it, even though it makes you nervous and you don't have all the courage and the bravery. Just do it. Just do it, okay? Just do it. And then see how things will start to work out for you. One day at a time. Things are just going to work out for you. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And remember that you are capable of more than you think.